Yeah, so it just makes you realize what you are grateful for, and again, I think in terms of the theme of this film, it's like, yes, don't be the victim. Yes, life throws hard balls at you, and it's hard, but, like, when you do focus on the positives, there is so much to be grateful for, right? Yeah.
Your character, she really sets the tone at the beginning. She's kind of essential in developing the story. Tell me what it was when you read the script that you felt like you could really bring to the table with her.
I got the script, and so I read it, and, my kids were just under 2 at the time, and so I kind of understood when I was reading the character, and, being married to an actor, a creative, an artist, and being an artist myself, like, you kind of understand that you know exactly the kind of hardships you're signing up for as an artist, because and also the beautiful thing about marrying an artist is they know exactly what they're passionate about. They know exactly what drives them. It's an art and a space that you respect and love. But then as a parent, you understand the sacrifices that you have to make, the balance that you have to decide, the balance that you need in life of being able to pay the bills and taking the jobs that, creatively not might be so stimulating, but then that pays for the time that you can do for your art. It's finding that balance, real life. And so yeah, I felt like there's a lot that I can bring. And this character really reminded me of my mom, wanting to support us. It's basically a single parent, but my father's around, of course. But she's always the one, like most mothers, having to think about what bills we have to pay. What are the kids going to have to eat for dinner? Okay, what activities do we have on the weekend? Oh, the show is running late. Are we going to get her fed in time? Is she going to be able to do a bath? Or is she going to have like a full night's rest? Does she have any homework that she needs to do? Like, if you're captaining a ship, it's exhausting. Those are the sacrifices that you're making. That's kind of the unforeseen work that you provide as a parent. But I think that's her conflict. She loves Ezra and she wants him to do what he loves, and yet she's kind of burned out. And it's been years that she's been supporting his dream and his passion, but I think there's a moment where you kind of look around, you're like, but I just need some support from you. You know? I need it's my turn to have that support. So, I think that's the conflict that she's experiencing, but again, there's still so much love. Yeah, you're a little annoyed. Yeah, you're tired, but you still love the guy. You know what I mean? And I think that kind of plays into his grief of, like, realizing what she had to sacrifice. And I think it also he kind of goes through this journey of question of, like, do I even still love music anymore? Do I resent it? Has it taken everything away from me? You know? There's so much beautiful symbolism in this film, that wasn't on paper, but, they really took it to the next level on screen. And so, yeah, there's so many analogies as well of, like, a lighthouse being a place that saves lives, and yet it's a destination where people come to end lives, you know? God, or a place where you find yourself and you're finding the light. There's just so many great analogies. It's fantastic.
What did it feel like when you were filming the scene? Because it is such an incredible story. Like when you're filming these scenes, did you did you actually feel like you were part of a bigger picture?
The only moment that we had, was at the jazz club, on the sidewalk, in the car, and then the flashback of being in the apartment. But I think the most profound, mind-blowing thing was, on paper, it said, Ezra, um, you know, he leaves the hospital and comes back to his apartment for the first time. He opens the door, and this he is overcome with so much grief and sadness, and this realization that it's left exactly how it was the night of his gig, and having to come back to it without your family there, like, what emotional toll that brings, but also what memories it brings. And so I was like, "Oh, it all makes sense, it's all in the apartment." No, I show up to set and it's on a beach, and we're like, "Wait, what are we doing here?" And they're like, "Well, we decided to build the exterior door of the set, and it will open to the beach, and we brought the living room of the apartment onto the beach." I was like, "That's genius." And do you know why? Is because when you think of your family, the happiest place, the safest place, it's home, right? But then also, when I think of my kids and what brings them the most joy is when they're at the beach. And so to come out of a coma and to come back to have to deal with and confront your grief and the realization of like the things that you've lost, your mind does weird things, you know? And so it does make sense that when he opens the door, he sees his family, but it is set in a beach because it's two beautiful things that so it really begs the question of like, what is real life? What's not? Is this a memory? Am I dreaming? Did I really lose my family? Are they still here? Are they not? So it was just so beautiful. Really, really beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
so wild the ride because through the movie you always think you have it figured out.
Yeah,
You're
you
like,
don't.
oh, it's like the loss, he loses lives and then he ends up saving lives, but then is it about then maybe friendship and then love and then it keeps
It
evolving.
keeps changing, but I mean, even with life, it's like, I don't think it needs to be so black and white. I think everything can be a lesson. But what I do think about this film that I think a lot of people can relate to is like finding purpose again, finding a reason to live. And I think a lot of people who've experienced the most harrowing experiences or experience immense loss, a lot of the things that give them purpose is to help other people, right? Is to focus, not to be, I'm a victim, boo hoo, but like, okay, how can we overcome this together? Who can I help? And that's exactly what Ezra does, right? He's like kind of guiding Sam or Abbie Cornish or finding the joy again, or even, even the Lucy Punch who plays this like looking for her love of like there's just so many people that need help and guidance, and he's kind of just there to do that. And I think that's kind of what keeps him from not killing himself, and it keeps him from waking up and continuing on the next morning.
I want to hear more too about working with Jack.
He's so I mean, I think he was about to go direct his first film that came out that made a huge splash. In terms of an actor, he's so present. He's there. He goes for it. He's very method, talking to the people, very friendly. Such a family orientated person. I got to meet his family on set. Beautiful, beautiful people. But I can tell the questions that he was asking, like, okay, so how many setups do we have for this? What lens are you using? Is it the only shot? Is it a tracking? What do you get? So I can tell that he was already prepping his mind to direct his film. But maybe he's always been that kind of artist. I don't know. But I thought it was really fascinating to see him work. And also it was so fantastic being able to work with Abbie Cornish again, because I think I'm such a big admirer of her work. And we are friends, and it's just so fun to work with your friends. Even though we weren't in a scene together, it was really fun to be able to come to set and be like, "Hey, what are you shooting? Okay, let me come watch." And to always be pleasantly surprised by her range and her work and her depth. And I think she's just such a vulnerable, beautiful person in real life, but also on screen. And so it's really lovely to be able to see her work and be a part of her work.
There's nothing better when you get to create art
It's
with your
the
friends.
best. It's the best. And I really do think, again, this movie kind of the messaging is like you find your community, you find your support, you learn how to support other people, and that gives you purpose. And I feel like, yeah, you realize it's something that you're really grateful for, and it's something that you wouldn't be able to live life without. Yeah, so it just makes you realize what you are grateful for. And again, I think in terms of the theme of this film, it's like, yes, don't be the victim. Yes, life throws hard balls at you, and it's hard, but like when you do focus on the positives, there is so much to be grateful for, right? Yeah.